Tashika Perry Harris, the founder of Crowning Daughters for Success Enrichment Program and author of Dressing My Inner Beauty Journal. Welcome back to Empowerment Time, the Me Project. We discussed in our last video session all about leadership styles. One of the leadership styles we covered was personable. Being personable, leading by example. So we want to dive into the personable style of leadership. I want to give you a couple of tips on the topic as well. When you lead by example, you create a picture that it can be done. People can look at you and say, if she did it, if he did it, so can I. When you lead by example, you make it easy for others to follow. To act in a very way or a trend that sets an example for others, it shows that you're not just trying to control, but it shows that you're willing to do the work first. You're willing to set the tone. You're willing to be the trailblazer that is going to take for others to connect, as well as apply what you're doing to their lives so that they walk in more success, hope, and joy. When you lead by example, you show others that, number one, that they are not alone, and number two, that they too can influence by their actions. I want you to think about a couple of things as you are leading by example. This is a leadership style that you can incorporate and you can learn as a skill because it's needed. You may have the leadership style maintaining and initiating, which is not a bad leadership style, but you can also incorporate the personable leadership style because there may be more people watching you than projects that you really have to organize. So as you lead by example, it is very important that you understand that what you are doing and what others are watching, is it following, is following what you're doing as others are watching the positive thing to do. You have to ask yourself, is what I'm doing worth others following? So you have to, before you make a decision that other people are going to see, whether it is on your social media page, whether it's your brothers and sisters looking and watching you dedicate yourself to your academic achievements? Is it you walking away from a situation that is about to cause your image to be in jeopardy? Is it you standing up for the right thing in front of people and other people seeing that they could also stand up for the right thing as well? So ask yourself this question as you are leading by example. Is what I am doing worth following? Is it leading others down a productive path or a destructive path? The second thing that I want you to ask yourself is my example leading by truth? Now, one of the things that people look for is they look through the loopholes, and the word nowadays is fake. People can smell fakeness a mile away. So are you leading by truth? An accurate representation affects everyone. So if you're leading to only get, you're really not leading by truth. You're leading and you're pretending to be a certain way only to get certain things. Being truthful, even when it feels risky, it creates trust and goodwill with people. So if people feel that you're leading by being truthful to what you're standing for and who you are, you're not pretending to just be someone, you really are what you are walking in. It causes people to trust you, and as they trust you, they want to follow you more. If you find that you have the tendency to bend the truth, spend more time asking yourself why. Because 9 times out of 10, if you're bending the truth, there's some fear there, and people can smell fear as well. So be the leader that lead by truth when you want others to follow. The next question I want you to ask yourself is, am I or is my example courage? Wow, courage takes a great deal because when times are tough, people respect and follow leaders who set up or who step up to challenges. There are many instances where it took a lot of courage to stand up and say and stand up and do, and others were watching and said, whoa, they had the courage to say no. They had the courage to say, I don't rock like that. They had the courage to say, I'm doing my homework. I'll have to text you or talk to you later. They had the courage to say, I don't feel that that is the right thing to do right now. Maybe I can build the same courage to stand up for what I need to stand up for. So take the lead in taking calculated risks that demonstrate commitment to a purpose. So whatever that purpose is, you're going to have to be courageous enough to commit to what it is that you feel is best. And as other people are watching, they're going to want to demonstrate that same courage. Another question I want you to ask yourself is, am I leading or is my example persistence? When people are watching you and you are leading by example, when your style is personable, they can see when you are about to quit. They can see when the situation or the challenge is frustrating you to the point that you are about to give up before your victory. So what we have to understand as leaders, leading with the style of being personable, leading by example, setbacks happens to everyone. Everyone receives bad news. Everyone has slip-ups. Everyone makes mistakes. But every team leader has to be persistent in their role if you want others to follow you with persistence. So role models deal with setbacks by reviewing their progress and trying again, even when they get off track. They reach out to others, they study a little harder, they observe what got them off track, and they reflect on certain things that they're not going to do again so that they maintain that constant flow that they need. So your persistence will demonstrate to those who are watching that not even obstacles are a good reason to give up. Is my example admitting when I fail? Oh, wow. That's a big one because it takes great humility to admit that you failed at something. And if you live a little bit longer, or if you go through enough interviews, whether it's for sports or a club or for a scholarship or to volunteer, one of the questions you're going to be asked is, tell me a time that you failed and what you've learned from it. So don't try to be Miss or Mr. Perfect. People know that you are human, and people know that you have drive when you fail, but you do not allow the failure to define you or redirect your path from continuing on with what you know is right. So acknowledging your failure, using failure or setbacks as an opportunity to learn and to be a powerful example before people. It makes it okay for those who are watching you to do the same thing. It also causes other people to acknowledge their failures. The people around you may not be comfortable admitting when things are not going well, but when you can admit something that didn't go well for you, but also add how you turned it around, how you turned your mindset around, and how you continued through that struggle or that challenge will cause others to definitely follow by that example. So leading by example, being a personable person or a personable leader, it causes others to look at you, not look at what you're wearing, not look at what you're driving, but look at what you're doing that makes a powerful and impactful impact on others as well as situations. A person that I believe led by example was Harriet Tubman. Harriet Tubman, she led by example, and some of the pointers that I gave talking about truth and leading by courage and leading by the example of persistence and even admitting failures is what Harriet Tubman incorporating as she led so many people out of slavery. She had to be persistent because it was so many reasons to give up. She had to be courageous because others were watching her. And if she exemplified fear in a great extent, that would have caused others to want to turn back or give themselves away because of the fear of something bad or dangerous happening to them. She also led by example, and what she was doing was worth following because many people would not have experienced freedom if she had not freed herself first. And so the persistence and the examples that was listed in the beginning of the video or empowerment time, Harriet Tubman truly exemplified those characteristics and qualities. So what I would like for you to do is I would like for you to write about someone who is leading by example, who is leading and doing something that is worth following, who's leading as an example, by example in truth, courage, persistence, and admitting their failures, but not just admitting their failures, also learning from failures and incorporating better choices so that they can miss that failure the second time they try. So make sure you get this information to your after-school coordinator. I cannot wait to hear some of the feedback.